Welcome into the award-winning RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Dabble and Sling. It is Friday, January 2nd. Happy New Year, everybody. Alex Barutha, Shannon McEwen, and Ken K-Train Kreitz.
All aboard.
We're going to do our usual. We're going to talk about some news, do some waiver wire discussion, and then at the very end, do a little pick six / DFS talk. But let's talk about the Denver Nuggets, because they have turned into a mash unit. With Nikola Jokic hurt his knee, kind of a freak accident. Someone stepped on his foot, knee buckled, out for 3-4 weeks, and then Valanciunas steps in to start and gets hurt himself with a calf strain. Add it to the list of calf strains this season. You could probably put a Hall of Fame team together with the amount of people who have missed with calf strains this year. Valanciunas now out a month plus alongside Jokic with a calf strain. Nuggets are also still missing Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, and Christian Braun, although it seems like Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun could come back at the end of the road trip for Denver. So we'll see what happens there. But Ken, in Denver, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, in our wagers earlier, I picked Tim Hardaway to score big, and he shot 13, but only hit 3. But I think Hardaway still has a ton of shots. And because he's one of the few guys who can create his own shot of the remaining healthy Nuggets. It's going to be very interesting to see how last year's first-round pick, DaRon Holmes, does. He's going to finally get an opportunity to play some center. He's completely unknown. He hurt his Achilles in 2024 Summer League. But he's first-round, 24th pick. So he's got some pedigree. I don't know. Shannon, you think Spencer Jones is going to get some shots, or can he not create his own?
Yeah, Spencer Jones is tough. He's already getting huge minutes. He's been getting pretty steady minutes since Cam Johnson went down with an injury. And Jones will continue to get minutes until Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun return. Heavy minutes too, 35, mid to high 30s. But it's not going to be a ton of production. Definitely warrants consideration like 14-team leagues, but I don't think he's even 12-team. Even with 35, 36 minutes per game, I wouldn't consider him a 12-team option.
Shannon, is there some sort of good news out of San Antonio?
Yes, the MRI on Wemby's knee came back clean. He did not suffer ligament damage when he hyperextended his left knee Wednesday night, but Wemby's still out for Friday's game at Indy. He's not traveling with the team, and he is questionable for Saturday's home game against Portland. So that's certainly welcome news on the Wemby front.
Yeah, and I know some people were rushing to add Luke Kornet. Luke Kornet's not a bad add, especially if you're in a deeper league anyway, even when Wemby's playing. But yeah, it's good news that it seems like Wembanyama is not going to miss that much time.
And we got some other good news. Avdija Zubac and Drew Holiday have both been cleared to participate in on-court activities, though we don't have a return date for either of those vets. And tonight, Friday night, we might see the return of Grayson Allen for the Suns and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for the Grizzlies. They're both questionable, hopeful to play tonight. But Alex, tell us who else is hurt. A lot of names for Friday's games.
Yeah, of course the Joker's out. Josh Giddey, Kobe White. We'll talk about some fallout from a lot of these injuries in about 5 or 10 minutes. We also have Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's still out with a sprained elbow. I believe Diabate is questionable as well, so that's something to keep an eye on. But Isaiah Hartenstein out, questionable. Yegor Demon, DeAndre Hunter, Sadiq Bey, Derek Queen. So the injuries keep piling up in the NBA. We need that All-Star break more than ever. But that will,
as always, check the RotoWire starting lineups page for the full situation.
Yes, sir. Before we discuss some listener Q&A, so if you are listening live in the chat, drop your questions in. A word from Dabble. Dabble is not just another DFS app. It's the ultimate social platform where you can connect with other fantasy sports lovers. Dabble lets you win big. You can win up to 5,000 times your money this basketball season. Starting with Dabble is easy. New users get $25 free when signing up. No deposit necessary. Check out the link in the episode description below on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to this podcast to download Dabble now. All right, Ken, we got some questions here in the chat. What are you looking at?
Yeah, Shannon, why don't you start with this first one? Some nice words from 95. Happy New Year, gentlemen. I'm thinking of offering Tatum for Haliburton, 14 category dynasty league. Thoughts on Tatum for Haliburton in the dynasty league?
That's a tough one. I'm a big fan of both players from a fantasy perspective. Really going on a limb there, saying that I like 2 top 10 players when healthy. But Tatum was my favorite player to pick. Anyone beyond Jokic, if there's a number 2 option last year, it was Tatum was my favorite. And I have to stick with that. I think there's just well-rounded production across the board. You're obviously going to get a bigger pop in a couple categories with Haliburton, in particular assist. But Tatum's going to hold the edge in scoring and a lot of those other scoring-related categories. So I like Tatum more than Haliburton in dynasty leagues. I just think he's built to have a longer peak than a guy like Haliburton.
Also, a small chance we see Tatum return this year. Some rumors in the Boston media, where I don't think Haliburton has a chance at all. But I don't know. We'll see. For you, great. An Alex Sarr question for Alex. Is he a must-hold or trade now? Excuse the typo there for Sarr versus Star in the question. What's your stance on expectations for Sarr rest of season, Alex?
I think you should hold him. If I did not have him on my roster, I would be thinking about trading for him, actually. You mentioned he's been great, limited minutes. He's been coming off an injury lately, past 7 games, playing 25 minutes a game, still putting up a decent 14 and 7 with 3 blocks, hitting a 3, doing it relatively efficiently. I don't think he's a shutdown risk. I think the Wizards will be looking to trade guys like McCollum and Middleton and even like Corey Kispert. And look, they're 8-24. They're in a single-digit wins category with Indiana, Sacramento, and the Pelicans. I don't think that I think guys like Sarr are the guys who will play down the stretch. Keyshawn George, guys like that, I think will be playing.
All right, Shannon, this one's for you. Is Brook Lopez a hold? He had one awesome game for the Clippers as their starting center. I think he's had 2 or 3 duds. How do you feel about Lopez with the Clippers?
Yeah, it's all about Zubac's health, essentially. As soon as Zubac returns, there's no need to really have Lopez, especially 10, 12-team leagues, maybe 14-team deep leagues. But even standard 14-team leagues, he's not going to have a ton of value. Zubac has been cleared. We mentioned in the news section, he's been cleared for on-court activities. So daily leagues, I'll hold on to Lopez until Zubac returns. But for this upcoming, if your waivers run Sunday night, Monday morning, I'm dropping Lopez in weekly waiver leagues.
I agree. He's also going to kill your field goal percentage. I think he went 2 of 12 or 3 of 12 last night. Alex, how do you like about this trade offer? Duren for Norman Powell.
I would take Duren. I know you can look at his numbers past 5 games or something. He's been a little more up and down lately than I would like, but at the end of the day, he's still putting up 18 and 10 every night. Great field goal percentage, pretty good free throw percentage for a center. And Norman Powell, look, Powell's been great as well, but when the Miami Heat are entirely healthy, he's not going to average 24 a game. He's going to probably average 20 or 19 a game, and he kind of gives you, I don't want to say he gives you nothing else, but he's a scoring guy. And I prefer, the sort of 2 category versatility of Duren.
And Duren's stats subdued last night because didn't he miss minutes with an ankle issue? He came back and then sat again. So, but it looks short term. Shannon, Booker or Denny Avdija rest of season? I just love that someone's asking this question, right? Hello, Denny.
It's a great question. It's a great question. I saw it as soon as it popped up, and I knew you were going to select this one. So I've been looking into it and trying to figure it out. I'm going Booker, and I'm somewhat surprised by that answer. And the essentially scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, threes, they're both going to be productive in those categories. It comes down to the percentages for me. So points based leagues, I'm still I could be talked into Denny over Booker, but in categorical rotisserie leagues, I want Booker and the 85, 86% that he offers from free throw line compared to Denny's. And that's high volume free throws typically for Booker. Like I said, most other categories, it's going to be fairly even. I also think Booker's just kind of trying to find his place with some new teammates, new rotations, everything else. I think he's going to step up and still be the clear dog, the clear alpha for this team. And he is. I mean, he's averaging. It's funny. You think he's having a horrible season, but he's averaging 25 and a half, 4.2, 6.3, still doing Booker things. But I do think there's upside for more down the stretch, especially because Phoenix has been a little bit more competitive than I think most people thought they would be this season.
Yeah. All right, Alex. Christian Braun, Grayson Allen, or Camara of the Trailblazers rest of season?
Gut feeling would be Grayson Allen, although his injury issues are starting to worry me a little bit. Missed some time with the knee issue. But Grayson Allen's been awesome when he's played this season. I mean, 16, 3 and 4, 1.7 steals, hitting 3 threes a game. Braun, I think Braun will play better than he had earlier in the season. He was shooting horribly from 3, and that was really affecting his play overall. Some usage decrease with like Cam Johnson and Aaron Gordon available, which they weren't. I mean, Cam Johnson wasn't on the team last season. Aaron Gordon was hurt. And Camara, we all like Tumani Camara, but it's just kind of not happening for him. And he's a very low upside player, cannot really take on more usage. He's a 3-and-D guy. So as much as there may be concerns about like, okay, Allen's injured, Jalen Green will come back at some point and take usage and minutes. I think I still like Grayson Allen because he can kind of do the most out of everybody here.
All right, and then let's end with this question for Shannon. Shannon, would you sell high on Paulo Banchero and trade for Austin Reaves in a buy low?
That's a tough one. For points-based leagues, I'm sticking with Banchero. He is rotisserie stuff with percentages, his defensive stats lacking. He's just not a complete player from a rotisserie standpoint. So I'm fine with selling Banchero for Reaves in categorical leagues, rotisserie leagues. In points-based leagues, though, I still ride Banchero. I think he's getting, and he has picked up his play the last couple of weeks with Wagner out. We had Suggs miss some time as well. He's taken a backseat to my boy Anthony Black a couple games as well, but that's to be expected. But Banchero, absolutely for points-based leagues, Reaves for categorical.
All right, thank you, Shannon. Alex, can you tell us about our good friends at Sling?
Are you tired of paying for live TV that you don't watch? With
Yeah.
Sling, you can with Sling, you can get all the live sports news and entertainment you want only when you want it. Get your hands on a Sling 1-day, 3-day, or 7-day pass starting at just $4.99. Get over 30 of your favorite channels for the best price and stop overpaying for full-time live TV plans. Sling has a pass for any occasion. Big game tonight? Grab a 1-day pass for just $4.99. Want a full week of live TV for one low price? Get a 7-day pass. And for all those weekend watchers out there, you can enjoy live sports, news, and entertainment from Friday morning to Sunday night with a 3-day pass. Only Sling lets you watch when you want, so you only pay for what you watch. Get live TV for the day, week, or weekend, your choice, all for a great price. Watch live TV on your terms, starting at just $4.99. Sling lets you do that. Use the link below to sign up today.
Well read, Alex. Well read, well said. All right, take us now to the meat of the podcast.
Talk about some waiver wire, some free agents, some pickups. In terms of the game count next week, is January 5th. 8 teams have 3 games. 22 teams have 4 games. So a very dense week in the association. Good for streaming. But I'm going to kick things off right away with Bilal Coulibaly, guard/forward for the Washington Wizards, who is 24% rostered on Yahoo. Past 5 games for Coulibaly, 14, 7, and 2 with 2.6 stocks in 26 minutes a game. Shooting still hasn't really been there. 41% from the field, 28% from 3. I would expect that to move up maybe a little bit. Not necessarily a ton.
Yeah.
But it has helped that Keyshawn George and Corey Kispert have missed time. But I want to highlight Coulibaly because he has been playing more and playing better. And I think especially for deep leagues, if he's not rostered right now, or if you're in a standard league where you're playing, where your team is doing really well and you can afford to stash some players, I think Coulibaly is a potentially good stash or long-term ad. Again, we talked about it before at earlier portion of the show. Washington Wizards trade deadline. I think they're moving off vets and clearing a runway for guys like Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, Tre Jones, Alex Sarr, all these guys. So I like Coulibaly as a longer term ad.
Interesting. Thank you, Alex. Before I give my pick, fans, if you like our videos, please hit like and subscribe below. It helps fund this thing. We would appreciate that. All right. The Chicago Bulls are right behind the Denver Nuggets when it comes to mash unit status due to terrible injuries. And that's why I'm recommending Tre Jones, guard for the Chicago Bulls, as a waiver wire pickup. Jones is managed in 25% of Yahoo leagues, 27% of ESPN leagues. Look, Josh Giddey out 2+ weeks. Kobe White out 1+ week. Jones has already been productive this season with per 36-minute averages of 17 points, 7 assists, and 2 steals with great percentages. He had a big game Wednesday, 20 points, 12 dimes on 7 of 7 shooting. Chicago has 4 games next week. So I think Jones is a very safe streaming option, and we'll see if those Bulls ever get healthy.
Good selection, Ken. My first waiver wire recommendation of the week, Cedric Coward for the Memphis Grizzlies, 32% rostered on Yahoo. He's been a top 100 player over the past month. Over that month, Coward is averaging 15.4 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 1.2 3-pointers while shooting 50, 81, and 28%. That's since the start of December. 11 games for the rookie. He's been even better. If you look at the past handful of games, he's been a top 50 player over the past week, which included a monster 28-point, 16-rebound effort against Philly. Coward should be rostered in 12-team leagues. He also deserves consideration in 10-team leagues. The Memphis Grizzlies are going nowhere this season. He's going to get more playing time as the season wears on, and he's already showing that he is one of the rookies to watch in this elite class of fantasy options that we get to enjoy in the 25-26 season.
A lot of people drop Coward like late November, early December, because he kind of went on a stretch where he was averaging like 11 points basically and not shooting that well. But yeah, if you held on, it's really paid off. He's back in business, so I like that. I certainly considered him as one of my ads. I have another Chicago Bull, Jalen Smith, sticks, center/power forward for the Chicago Bulls, and I say /power forward because he started next to Nikola Vucevic the other night against the Pelicans due to all of Chicago's injuries, which includes Zach Collins, who's out for about probably a week and a half. Past 4 games for Jalen Smith, 11, 10, and 2 with 1.5 blocks, shooting 42% from 3. We know he's a 3 and D center who can grab rebounds. That's good stuff. So I think Smith, to me, broadly, he's more of a deep league ad. But if you need rebounds, if you need threes, if you need any sort of big man stat or threes, I think you add him. Like he should be rostered, I think, in most standard leagues at this point, at least in the short term.
I like it, Alex. I like it. I'm going to go with another big man for my second waiver wire pick, and that's Daniel Gafford, center for the Dallas Mavericks. He's managed in 18% of Yahoo leagues, 39% of ESPN. Look, last year, Gafford was very solid for the Mavs with over 12 points, about 7 rebounds, and almost 2 blocks a game. He had a slow start to this season due to ankle injuries and healthier Anthony Davis. But remember, Derek Lively is out for the year for Dallas. Gafford has a very fragile AD in front of him at center. But even with a healthy AD, we're going to see a lot of AD, Gafford, and PJ Washington all getting big minutes at the 4 and the 5 for the Mavericks. Last three games for Gafford, he's put up a useful 12 points, over 7 boards, and 2.6 stocks per game. I like Gafford as a long-term play. Granted, the Mavs only have 3 games next week, but I think Gafford's minutes are only going to increase as the season moves on.
All right, we are going to stay in Texas for the next waiver wire rec. Tari Eason, forward for the Rockets, 31% rostered on Yahoo. Eason has started 4 consecutive games for the Rockets, posting averages of 12.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2 steals, 1.3 blocks, and 1.5 three-pointers. Eason's always been a defensive menace with huge upside in the steals and blocks categories, even when he played in a limited role off the bench. His defensive upside is sky high now that he's starting for the Rockets. In addition to those defensive contributions, Eason's flashed an improved three-point shot this season. He's hitting 50% from downtown while shooting a career-high 4.4 three-point attempts per game. Eason's a lock to produce at a top 100 level while in the Rockets starting lineup. He's a must-add in 12-team leagues, and I think there's 10-team consideration here as well.
I am shocked and appalled that his management is at 31%. Unacceptable.
Ken, you
totally
might be
put him
muted.
in my picks. Oh, no.
No, I hear him.
No.
Or maybe
might
my
be
headphones
muted.
are just not working. I'll fix
We'll
that.
get
You
Shannon
guys
a new
keep
pair
going.
of headphones.
Alex, give us your first long-term pick of the week.
Yeah, long shot. DaRon Holmes, center for the Denver Nuggets, 12% rostered, which is a rate that has absolutely flown up the past couple days. Risen? Yes. A risen roster rate. Both he has risen. Both Nikola Jokic and Jonas Valanciunas are now likely out for about a month. DaRon Holmes did play 22 minutes against the Raptors, which was just his 4th NBA appearance. Like Ken mentioned at the top of the pod, he missed all of last season, his true rookie season, due to an Achilles tear. In that game against the Raptors, Holmes posted 11, 3, and 1 with 1 block and went 2 of 3 from distance. He is essentially an undersized center. I think he's 6'8" or 6'9". He's got a threes and block skill set. So insert any player you want who's a 3, and he's a Miles Turner, Taylor Hendricks, Onyeka Okongwu. Just insert any of those types of guys. But as someone who could actually see like high 20s, 30 minutes a game if he can handle it. Interestingly, Zeke Naji was a DNP against the Raptors with Jokic out. So clearly there's not a level of trust with Naji. So I think Holmes is pretty much a must roster player at this point.
I love the upside there, Alex. Nice. For my long shot, I'm going with a gunner in New York, Miles McBride, who, due to injuries, managed only in 7% of Yahoo leagues, 4% of ESPN leagues. McBride is healthy after a 7-game absence due to an ankle issue. Remember, Josh Hart is out roughly a week, so a lot of minutes are available on this Knicks squad. Power forward Mohamed Diawara is a starter really in name only. Last 2 games from McBride, 17.5 points, 3 triples, and 3 rebounds per game. So really, if you need scoring, if you need threes, McBride is your guy. And the Knicks have 4 games next week. Miles McBride, my long shot. Shannon, who you got?
All right, I'm going to Brooklyn. Danny Wolf, forward and center, kind of, for the Brooklyn Nets. 1% rostered on Yahoo. The rookie out of Michigan received his first start of the season on Thursday, finishing with 9 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 3 in 29 minutes. The Nets were without Michael Porter, Terrence Mann, other regulars on Thursday, which opened the door for Wolf to earn his first spot start. But none of those absences are going to be long-term. This is more of just if you are in a deep enough league where a 1% rostered player is worth stashing, Wolf is a guy to consider. He's going to have a very, very diverse production. He'll get assists from a big man. He will take threes. Some of them will be horrendous, but he'll make some as well. So if you're in a deeper format, you're looking for players to stash for kind of that second half bump where they're going to receive more playing time. I view Wolf's spot start on Thursday as a very good sign that the Nets will give him more minutes later this season.
Jimmy Butler, big fan. Danny Wolf.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. I'm going to bid you adieu briefly while you two give your fantastic DFS picks for Friday night.
It is a 10-game slate tonight. Highest over-under courtesy of Atlanta Hawks at New York Knicks, 246.5. Trae Young must be playing in this game if that over-under is that high. So let's discuss some pick 'em plays, some DraftKings DFS. As always, keep an eye on NBA injuries. You can go to the RotoWire NBA injuries page. You can go to the RotoWire NBA starting lineups page. You can go through that through the RotoWire website, or just a quick Google will certainly get you there. I'm going to start off with Con Knipple, more than 17.5 points versus my Milwaukee Bucks. I think I think the audience probably heard that. I think Ken is messing around with a soundboard. That might be a new feature. Yes, Con Knipple, more than 17.5 points versus the Bucks, averaging 23 points per game over the past 8 games. Bucks giving up the 6th most threes per game over the past 10. They are playing some better defense since Giannis returned, but I am not 100% sure how much I really buy that. Although for those who have still rostered Miles Turner, those blocks, they've been up. But yes, Con Knipple, more than 17.5 is what I like.
I like that. And for this segment, Alex has got a few pick 6 selections, and then we'll just move on. We'll go through all your selections here, Alex, and then we'll move on to a handful of DFS selections as well.
Works for me, Ken. If you could play the applause after every single pick, that would be appreciated. Jaren Jackson, more than 27.5 points plus rebounds plus assists versus the Lakers. Thank you. Past 7 games for Jaren Jackson Jr., averaging 22, 8, and 2. I mean, if you've been, again, another guy, like everyone was panicking about Triple J, and now he's played a little bit better, pretty much in conjunction with John Morant coming back. So interesting situation here against the Lakers, who have struggled a lot lately and have the 2nd worst defensive rating in the NBA across the past 2 weeks, 123.5.
They play 0 defense. I watched the Lakers game the other day. Pistons were shooting like 65% for almost the entirety of the game. The refs were trying very hard to keep the Lakers in it, but 0 defense from the Lakers side.
Yep. So I'm on Jaren Jackson to keep it rolling, more than 27.5 PRA. Last one here, Pascal Siakam, less than 33.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Past 9 games for Siakam. I really enjoyed that one. Past 9 games, 21, 6, and 3, which is, of course, solid numbers. But has not played as well as he did earlier in the season. Obviously, Indiana, they're just in blowouts all the time. I know Wembanyama is not available for this game, so the Spurs are only 6-point favorites on the road against Indiana. But the Spurs played fine defense without Wembanyama. Luke Kornet could stand in the middle and play good defense. And, of course, they have good wing defenders. Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes to give Siakam some trouble. Spurs 6th best defense over the past 2 weeks. So all those things in consideration for Pascal Siakam, less than 33.5 PRA.
I like those pick 6 selections, Alex. Moving on, here are a handful of DFS targets I'm looking for the Friday night slate on DraftKings. We'll stick in San Antonio. De'Aaron Fox is somehow under. He's only $7,000. He was under $7,000 for Wednesday or Thursday slate. It's just an odd thing to see De'Aaron Fox, a guy who has plenty of monster outings, monster DFS games, go for that low of a price. Also, with Wemby out, he's going to have to carry more of the scoring load for the Spurs. So I love De'Aaron Fox at 7,000. Thank you. Moving to Denver, Yeah, there are a couple options for Denver. They're very beat up. Jamal Murray, of course, would be a smash. He's right around just under 10,000 for tonight's slate. But looking at some of the cheaper options, we've got Peyton Watson, 6,100 going against Cleveland. Thank you. I'll be sure to pause for applause moving forward. Peyton Watson, 6,100 against the Cavs. He had a big game with Jokic out earlier this week, and 6,100 is a little bit more than I want to spend on him, but someone has to produce for the Nuggets. The other option, free agent target that we discussed earlier, DaRon Holmes, the second. And this is a player who you would expect to be minimum priced or 3,200, somewhere in that range. No, we're not that fortunate. DraftKings has already adjusted the salaries for Denver, and DaRon Holmes is 4,500. That's still enough of a discount. Looks like he is going to get heavy run with Jokic and Valanciunas both out. In the most recent game that JV left early, it was pretty much Holmes for from mid third quarter till the end of the game. He was the center for the Nuggets. So I expect a big night from him. And last but not least, we are going with a pair of Tre's. Tre Jones for the Chicago Bulls, 5,100. As Ken discussed earlier, he's in a prime position to be productive. And then Tre Johnson with the Wizards, 4,400. Oh, no. That one deserved the biggest applause. Tre Johnson's, yes. Tre Johnson started 3 straight games. Keyshawn George is going to be out again tonight. I'm comfortable and very happy to plug in Tre Johnson and his 3-point shooting at 4,400 into my DraftKings lineup.
Yeah, I will say one thing that's impressed me about Tre Johnson. Obviously, he's a good shooter, but has shown some interesting stuff as a playmaker as well, just in terms of like being able to handle the ball and create his own shot. So that's something when like Keyshawn George is out, it's not just that Tre Johnson is standing around hitting spot up threes. Like he can also handle the ball and do stuff for himself. But Ken, I think you're back in here. Welcome back. Our producer, Ken Kreitz. Our producer is here. It's time for your old man rant.
Arg! Stop talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo trades. The man is loyal to Milwaukee. Do the Bucks stink? Yes. But does the entire Eastern Conference stink? Yes. Look at Al Horford. He turned his back on my beloved Boston Celtics to make a run with the Warriors. The Warriors are 18-16 and in 8th place. The Celtics are 21-12 and in 3rd place. Sure, the Warriors might be better, but Boston has a greater chance of success. The grass is not always greener. Ask Damian Lillard if switching teams works out. I don't want to hear about the Greek freak leaving Wisconsin. Arrgh!
Here's what I'll say, Ken, and I sent this message in a group chat the other day. The Milwaukee Bucks, who have Giannis Antetokounmpo and are trying to win games, have 14 wins. The Brooklyn Nets, who constructed a roster to lose games on purpose, have 10 wins. Only 4 fewer than the Milwaukee Bucks. So, yes, Giannis, the Eastern Conference sucks.
Giannis did miss some games, though, right?
Yeah. Some games. They weren't playing that well when he was there either. Yeah, I wish the East sucking meant as much for the Bucks as it seems to mean for the Boston Celtics or the Toronto Raptors or the first place Detroit Pistons.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah. I don't know, Ken. We'll see what happens. But I appreciate your support. I love to watch Giannis play basketball in a Bucks uniform.
Yeah. I just don't like stars switching teams. Just don't care for it.
I agree with you. And the NBA, you know what? They're trying to stop it. Yeah. they are actively trying to stop that.
Unless they're trying to weasel the Lakers somebody, because they always have to have stars.
We'll see. As part of the vision, I think we avoided any mispronounced names today. A lot of standard names here. for the day.
I always screw up Christian Braun because it's
hard when you read it.
You read it, you immediately go to the You should change the spelling.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. It is brought to you by Chalkboard. No, it's brought to you. Who is it brought to you by? Dabble and Sling, our boys.
There we go.
Our boys and girls at Dabble and Sling. As always, remember, use code YouTube15 to get 15% off your RotoWire subscription.
Heck yeah.
As you can see, if you're watching on the video, Ken is representing the company well today with is that a quarter zip or is that like a full zip?
Almost like a half zip. It kind of goes
a
little lower
half
than
zip.
It's like a half. It's not a quarter. It's like
you can wear it on vacation on the beach and just unzip it halfway and just soak up the
give
sun.
the people what they want. This pasty albino skin.
So if that was irresistible to you, you can go to rotowire.com/subscribe probably. 15% off your RotoWire subscription, which comes with premium tools that all of our writers and experts use every day.
I like that
articles.
Minutes on off, the thing where you pick minutes, how many minutes does this guy get when these other people are gone? That kind of
an
stuff.
on-off core tool for NBA.
Yeah.
Baseball is coming up soon. We got premium articles, insanely deep minor league discussion. If you're like a sicko in like a 30-team MLB dynasty league with 3 minor league systems, we will help you with that. That is for sure. The My Leagues tool, everything. So check out the RotoWire subscription, 15% off with code YouTube15. Ken, take us out of here.
Yeah, let's go to Dallas, Texas, where ESPN Hoops collective contributor Tim McMahon recently said this about the Hawks and Trae Young. Quote, "The Hawks are indicating they are looking for the exit ramp with Trae Young. They did not make any attempt to get him signed to an extension." End quote. Attention passengers, this 3-car fantasy train wreck has hit the end of the line.